So last weekend I went out and purchased the AtGames Legends Ultimate Arcade Cabinet. Since that purchase, I've learned quite a bit about it, so I thought it'd be beneficial for those of you needing more information out there to go ahead and put together a top 10 list of things I think you need to know before you consider purchasing this cabinet. So number one, there are 350 games on this AtGames Legends Ultimate Arcade Cabinet, and these 350 built-in games do not require any kind of payment plan, subscription service, or online connectivity in order to allow you to play these games. Of these 350 titles, 147 of them are actually true arcade titles, while the remaining games are from various different home consoles such as the Atari 2600, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, and the original Nintendo home consoles. You're also able to play additional games via internet connectivity, whether it be Ethernet or Wi-Fi. The AtGames ArcadeNet is a monthly subscription cloud-based service that will allow gamers the option of paying an additional $19.99 a month for access to a larger assortment of game titles. Additionally, you'll have the option to purchase these games for an additional fee on top of the monthly service fee should you wish. The purchase price of these games will vary from title to title, but game owners will be able to store their purchased games on their own personal USB drives to keep forever. ArcadeNet is currently in the beta stages and is currently being offered free of charge on this system at the time of making this video. And of course, the million-dollar question that everybody's asking and wants to know has finally been answered. Yes, you will be able to add your own game ROMs on this via USB very soon. More details will follow on this process in regards to which systems or emulators will be supported, but we already know that this arcade can handle playing games from Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Atari, ColecoVision, etc. So it's a safe assumption to say, at the very least, we should be able to load our own games for these systems onto this cabinet. There will also be two different retail versions of this arcade cabinet. The $499 Sam's Club Special Edition version, which comes with an included Namco Blast dongle, 3 months of ArcadeNet subscription service, and an additional 5 hours of the Bring Your Own Games service for free. You can purchase this exclusive Sam's Club bundle online today using the product link in the video description box below, or you can find it in your local Sam's Club stores. There will also be a Walmart version priced at $599, which is actually available now on Walmart.com. But it will not come with the Blast dongle, the extra 3 months subscription of the ArcadeNet, or the 5 hours free of the BYOD Bring Your Own Games service. Additionally, this cabinet's dimensions will vary a little bit by about 2 inches, but the internal components and game software inside remains identical. The BYOD, or Bring Your Own Game feature, allows you to stream and play PC digital games from places like Steam, Epic, Origin, etc. using the AtGames optimized servers. Using their servers requires a $1 per hour usage fee, and this hourly fee is implemented because you essentially are running a remote gaming session on their specialized servers, which in turn are doing all the hard work and processing work for graphics rendering instead of your own hardware. And if you aren't really interested in paying an hourly fee to play your own streaming games, which I can't imagine any of you out there would be, well, there's also supposed to be a method that will allow you to stream your own games free of any charges using your own local network. AtGames has stated that there is a free app that will allow gamers to use that will enable this free home network streaming functionality that will be rolling out in the coming weeks. But at the time of making this video, no such function exists, and if you choose to play streaming games on this system right now, you will be forced to pay for it. And if you're looking to utilize this BYOD streaming service, keep in mind you will need a USB mouse and keyboard, because currently, as it stands right now, there is no internal virtual keyboard, so when you're trying to log into these Steam or Origin accounts, things like that, and you're trying to type in your email address and password, well, you're unfortunately unable to do that without the use of a keyboard or a mouse. So keep that in mind, because a keyboard and mouse does not come with any of these bundles, and it's something you're going to have to provide on your own. The unit has 2 additional HDMI peripheral ports located on the control panel that are easily toggled between using the source button. These ports allow for even more expansion possibilities on this arcade, and you can easily connect various types of input sources, such as an external game console, or a Raspberry Pi, or something like an Amazon Fire Stick to make this an all-in-one media center for yourself. You will still need to use the controller or remote control for whatever input device you connect instead of the arcade's control panel. Should you wish to utilize the arcade controls for a secondary source like a Raspberry Pi, Well, you would need to splice or tap into the existing wired connections and then add your own wires and USB encoder boards to get that up and running. Currently, AtGames is already on the market with a lot of these blast dongle units, and these include a bunch of preloaded games on them. You're just going to simply plug this into the HDMI port on the front of the console, and you're actually able to play and control the games via the included control panel on the AtGames Legends Ultimate Arcade cabinet. This arcade actually comes partially pre-assembled and is relatively easy and simple to set up. There are three main sections of this cabinet, the base being really the only portion that's actually going to require any kind of setup, the HD monitor display section. In the control panel, in total the machine weighs about 90 pounds and is light enough to be moved around by a single person. The control deck height sits at about 35.5 inches up from the floor, and comparatively, this height in comparison to a full-size Dynamo arcade cabinet and the arcade 1-up cabinet on a riser look like this. The Legends Ultimate Arcade cabinet really is a connected arcade. Online firmware updates can and will be implemented to correct any bugs or errors in the user's experience, according to AtGames. And I can attest to this because the very first time I turned this thing on and signed it on to my internet connection, I was forced to download a firmware update. What the firmware update did, I'm not really sure, but it is nice to see they are supporting this with firmware update. They will also aim to provide further updates to the system with new options and menu settings that will improve the overall gameplay experience. I've personally found a few spelling mistakes and labeling issues in a few of the games in their menus, so hopefully these type of things are quickly remedied and corrected by a quick firmware update. AtGames has also made mention of potentially offering updates to allow for more display options for games versus their original aspect ratios that are seen on this cabinet. That does it for this video, guys. I hope you found some of the details and information inside this video helpful. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing and make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know every time I upload new content. And as always, thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me, guys.